Okay, Erik ten Hag has arrived in the UK to start work as the new manager of Manchester United, but he's not quite reached Manchester yet as we record this podcast. We'll keep you up to date on his exact location. I think Laurie's got one of those WhatsApp things. But anyway, that's ahead of schedule, and we understand that he's turned down a trip to Curacao with Ajax to do that as well. He's going to understand that that's a mistake as soon as he sees the state of the May weather in Manchester, but he'll get used to that. That, of course, was one of the interesting details in an exclusive interview he did with a Dutch newspaper, De Telegraaf, over the weekend. Marcel van der Kraan is their sports editor and no stranger to English football fans as well, and he joins us now on Talk of the Devils. Marcel, thank you for doing this.
Nice to be on, guys.
What's the reaction? We're going to get into lots of things, of course, over the course of this chat, but what's the immediate reaction and the opinion of Ten Hag coming to Manchester United and the situation that the club's in?
Well, I think if there hadn't been any stories in the English newspapers warning us that there is a kind of apocalypse happening there at the moment, I think people would have been very proud. He's taking care of everything at Manchester United. He'll try and play the football like he did with Ajax when he first started. But at this moment, everybody's thinking, oh my God, he's almost like Red Adair, landing in Australia when they had their bushfires. And is there anything to be saved there? Is there one single green bush at Old Trafford? It's that sort of state everybody's believing he's ending up in.
It's not that bad, Andy, is it?
Well, it's not that good either, is it? Because we've been watching Manchester United and there's more than one Manchester United fan has said, what on earth is Erik letting himself in for? But Marcel, correct me if I'm wrong, when he first came to Ajax, there were a lot of people in Holland doubting whether that was a good appointment. And I can remember, I think, seeing you in the Bernabeu before Ajax beat Real Madrid, and I spoke to several people from Holland, and they were saying if he doesn't win tonight, he's probably going to lose his job. And of course, Ajax beat Real Madrid in one of the best games that I've seen. But he was the outsider when he arrived. Is he an outsider now, coming into England? Is he used to that adversity with people thinking, I've got doubts about you?
You're spot on there. If people really would know what was happening behind the scenes at the beginning of his time at Ajax, they would have been shocked. We, in the beginning, couldn't believe that there was so much unrest in the dressing room, on the training pitch. It was Hakim Ziyech wasn't happy. Dusan Tadic was not happy with Erik ten Hag. And Tadic was a very influential player. He came from the Premier League, had a lot of experience, and they were playing in a style and they were training in a certain style which Erik wanted to stick to, but it wasn't gelling, it wasn't going down well with the players, and you could feel it was bubbling to almost, boiling temperatures, and it was either going towards an exit of Erik or they had to meet each other somewhere. And at one time, Tadic gave us some of the inside information there, not a lot, but he wanted to tell us, look, we need to change our ways with Erik, and Erik has to change his ways with us. And I think that was a crucial time. The fans were not happy, the players were not quite happy, but the fact that they turned it round and the fact that a club like Ajax stuck to their belief, their vision, their ideas, and this is where maybe the parallel could come for Man United. If you change and if you want a real change of your football, you have to stick to what you choose for. And Mark Overmars was influential. I think if Mark Overmars had not been there, maybe Erik would have been out. But he was a choice of Overmars. And Overmars said to everybody, you have to go with Erik. You must believe in him, because I think he's going to really, really change Ajax. And the rest is history, but it was a very, very crucial time. And that could happen again at Manchester United, because at the time in Holland, he was working in a very comfortable environment when we talk about the language, the scenery of the Dutch Eredivisie. He knows all the clubs, the opponents, he knows all the managers, he knows every player who he was playing against. Now he's landing in a no man's land as far as Ten Hag is concerned. He's never coached, never played in England. Everything is new. He needs people who have to warn him about things, let alone the club itself. Manchester United is a giant of a club. Ajax was big. Ajax is big in Holland, but nowhere as big as Manchester United. And I think this is going to make it very complicated for him, especially again in the first 6 months, because if by Christmas they would be 7th or 8th or 9th, people are going to say, well, what's changed? And is he having the support then from the club? Again, like he did from Overmars. Is there a Mark Overmars at United for him?
Marcel, your interview with him this weekend was illuminating in many ways, but do you think that he is equipped to come into a situation like Manchester United? And do you think it's quite a significant moment that he said he's going to start work on May the 16th, the day that we're recording this podcast? He's not wasting any time.
Well, the fact that he wants to start so early, I think, tells you something about the alarming situation of the club, Manchester United. And I think mainly about the squad, because a manager only looks at the squad. He's not worried about who's working in the offices and who's the performance coach, and that will all be filled in at times. But a manager only wants to play who he's going to have as a left wing and a right back, isn't he? And I think he's got quite big concerns after his talks with Man United. He's very motivated, wants to do the job, wants to change it, but then you need to have a say in the attraction of new players, who's coming in, who's going out. And I think he can't do that on the 1st of July when 3 days later he leaves with his squad to, is it Australia the first one? Or anywhere, or to Thailand, to Asia. You can't change anything about your squad there and then. So he needs to do it now. Is he equipped? I think he's more equipped. If he's totally equipped, we have to see. But the fact that he turned things around at Ajax under the biggest pressure, under a lot of resistance from players, fans, the fact that he weathered all the storms from the Dutch media, because my paper has not been kind to him in the first 12 months, I have to admit that. And at the end of the day, he said, thank you guys. You guys have made it difficult at times for me, but we've worked well, we've got there, we've got trophies, and it's also been a learning experience for me. And I think he needed that to come to Man United. And it still might not be the kind of storms he could face, which I've seen with other managers, which I've seen with Louis van Gaal when I was there, which he could be ending up in.
When you look at, you mentioned Louis van Gaal there, Marcel. When you look at the position he was in when he came to Manchester, and obviously the problems that he faced, he's been so outspoken about how he felt that the club wasn't set up for sporting success necessarily. How much is Erik ten Hag listening to that type of comment, and how much do you think he is aware of exactly what he's stepping into in that sense?
Well, I hope he's not listening too much to Louis van Gaal, because he needs to have his own people. Louis van Gaal was completely not right at that moment, and probably would never be for a big job at Manchester United, because he's far too Dutch. Louis van Gaal is a man who had no idea for the British situation for British football, and he was very, very Dutch. So it was it was never going to work.
What type of management style does Erik have? Is he an autocrat? Does he like to be on the training pitch? Does he like complete control? Does he delegate? What's he like with the media?
I've described him once as a training beast. He's a man of a tracksuit. He's not a man like the English manager who wants to get on the phone, does all the dealings like Benitez used to do. I used to hear stories when Benitez was at Newcastle that they could never see him on the pitch because he was always speaking to agents and other club managers talking about the change of players. Ten Hag will hate that. The only time when he's going to get involved is the next 6 weeks, because he wants to get the squad right. But once he's in that job on the 1st of July, I think you'll see him on the first day in his tracksuit. And ideally, he's out on the pitch most of the day. And I think in the beginning, the players will be baffled when they see how many hours they will be spending there. But that's what you need if you want to change to a whole offensive football style. And I won't say he's going to bring total Dutch football to Manchester United, but he will want to make it in a way how he plays Ajax, because that is the only way he wants to play football. Ten Hag is a massive fan of Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola was taught by Johan Cruyff. Cruyff brought the Dutch football from the 70s to Barcelona, brought it to Ajax when he was a manager there. He guided Koeman and Pep Guardiola, and later even Peter Bosz, who's now at Olympique Lyon, and who also was manager of Ajax. And all of them played that total football style. And the fact that Erik ten Hag loved his time at Bayern Munich so much with Pep, and the fact that he says, look, he's my big example, is in a way learning from the heritage of Johan Cruyff, because that's where it all comes from.